Hi everyone, this is Norman Kochner here from Eyes on Cricket. Feeling a lot better today, guys, if you'd like to know. Yes, I'm certainly feeling a lot better. Looking at a match today where South Africa have clawed their way back into this match. India centers. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. India only scored 202. South Africa then went in front with 229, but then India came back 266, and they needed 240 to win the test. But South Africa are actually 2 for 118, so they've inked out some runs, but there's still 122 to go, and we know full well that wickets could tumble very quickly. Dean Elgar's done very well on 46. Van der Dusen, I haven't thought much of, has on 11. So the latest weather update from it still is just wind that slowed down, but it'll be a while before any play happens. Basically, it looks like the game won't be starting on time there in South Africa. And there's been a discussion point of Rishabh Pant and the way that he plays at the moment. A lot of conjecture over his mental state mustn't be 100% right, to be very honest with you. He's been such highs, but he's got such lows at the moment as well. So I don't quite know what's going on there. It's a bit of a worry, if you ask me. Anyway, yeah, there certainly is some issues there. So at the moment, the update is that the weather update from Firdaus, who's actually physically there, and it's basically the weather is not good. There's drizzle, so maybe this might, in some unusual way, support India for once. Varun Khatri, how are you? So we're looking at it. That's that. At the moment, India have got a bit to do there. They've got to get 8 wickets for less than 122. Look, they've done it before. Don't forget that South Africa had 2 innings in the first test match, didn't go over 200. This one, they only got 229, so quite effectively. They're going to be struggling to get 240, even though they look like they're in the box seat. It's really hard for India to win. Well, you could say that, but if you just look at the history of the 2 matches so far, and South Africa have not got higher than 229. So this is 240. This is more runs. If they get rid of Dean Elgar, I think you'll see quite very quickly how this innings could change dramatically for the less. Anyway, on a positive note, for the Australian side, they ended up getting 8 for 416, with Usman Khawaja getting a fantastic 137. Usman Khawaja, I lauded over his selection for some time. He should have been in there. He's proven why. Scored a magnificent 137. You know, no doubt that he deserves to be in that side. He scored a Test century on his first innings back. Marcus Harris, despite having batted 25 innings in a row for Australia, and effectively 14 tests, 25 innings, has not scored a century. He's an opening batsman. He's selected to bat at the top of the order and to score runs and to score effectively a century. He hasn't done so. They're going nuts about his 70. It's not a century. Khawaja first came in, bang, 137. Pretty clear who should be opening the innings. He scored, that's his 9th test century in 45 test matches. Will the rain play extremely Australia? I think it will. It will, Baram. The reality is this is disgraceful. That people, blind Freddie should be able to tell anyone that Marcus Harris, now that Khawaja's been given half a door open, he's bashed it down 137 in a very difficult condition with a lot of difficulty around him. He just shows to me. Labuschagne ranked number 1? I don't think so. I actually think Khawaja should be ranked in the top 10 immediately. He's a quality player. He is sensational. He's got more 3,000 plus test runs now. Keep him in the side. Do not get him out of the side. Selectors, George Bailey, I hope you're watching this, because it's time we see Khawaja stay in the test team. And Logic has it. No more defensive discussion about Marcus. Oh, Marcus Evans got 76. How hard was that? He has not scored a test century in 25 test innings, and that is effectively 14 tests. Opening the, I mean, if he was batting number 10, okay, I'd accept that. But if he's opening the batting, no, not good enough. And it's not based on him, having scored many centuries a while ago, like say Pujara or Rahane. I keep giving a go. I kind of get those situations, but no, he's not done it once. So sorry, Khawaja has to force his way in. Only Java 69 can save India now. Varun Karachi, okay. Java 69 hopefully is not in South Africa. Please, Java not be there. All right, so effectively, we're looking at a very unique situation there for India. Does not deserve to lose this test match. South Africa have been really the lesser side for the majority of the time. I don't think that it's conclusive yet. There's still 122 runs to get. There's 8 wickets, which can fall like that. You get rid of Dean Elgar, and the team will fall like 9 pins. I said that in the first innings, it virtually happened. They did ink out 229, but look, lose a few wickets here, and we'll see what happens. And India have to have. This will be a strengthening. If India can win this, hats off to them. They're the best team in the world. India, South Africa ranked 6th, and this is the way the game should be panned out. Actually, so yes. All right, let's look at some stats here. So I've uploaded videos with from yesterday from Wooden and Khawaja, and we had of course, the fantastic story about Bangladesh. As we all know, Bangladesh defeating emphatically New Zealand in New Zealand, which is the first time it's happened. It's the first time. But Bangladesh have won quite a few matches against overseas opposition now, so a lot to be said positively about this as well. So no, I'm pretty much happy with way Test cricket's going. And Shapali Road Cody opened up her Maris Fitness Centre there in Colombo, in a location. She has a great 2-story building. Had her first clients come through, both kids and adults, being trained as a personal trainer, an ex-Sri Lankan international player for some 80 odd, well over 100 matches, 16 seasons as in the national side. Great to see. Her guest on the first day was Arjuna Ranatunga. Great thing to see, great thing to experience. Well done, Shapali Rurakoti. I've uploaded some stuff on my YouTube channel about her. So again, this is Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. Don't forget to subscribe. I want people to subscribe. There's a certain responsibility to do that for me. So Usman Khawaja, 137 out of a total of 8 for 416. He was supported by, and I say supported by Steve Smith on 67. But really, he didn't get much other support, did he? He got a bit from Pat Cummins and Mitchell Stark, yes. But ultimately, Usman Khawaja led the way. 137. Who is this? Someone is. I don't know who this is. Anyway, I tell you what, I don't like being called while I'm doing my live show. Please don't call me. I don't like that. I find it very. No, this person is somebody's. I don't know who it is. It's annoying me. Okay, all right. So we have a situation where South Africa people are saying are in the box seat to actually join. It's something of a mystery as to how they got themselves in this positive position. But look, get rid of Elgar. India will then be on top very quickly again, and we should see an incredible finish to that match. Let's hope it goes the way it should. Yeah, and then the Ashes Test Series on Australia again dominating for sure. India will win Aussie supporter from Perth. Good on you, Justin Shafiri. That's great. It's good to see people from Perth. Perth, WA, where Alan Mullally's actually as well. I should get Alan on the show. It's just, yeah. So I'm just going to try and get a hold of a few people here. Looks no, No, it's been a great day of cricket. Great day of cricket. Great day. A wonderful day of cricket. There's a lot of people with COVID around the world. My God, I can safely say that I'm feeling a lot better now. So I'm very happy about that. It's been a very trying little period. Certainly. I just want to see if I can get some. But yeah, the Indian side, there's certainly a lot of concern about the way things are going, but I don't think there's anything to be concerned about at all, to be very honest with you. They've been fantastic the way they've done things. So, okay, Aussie comeback king. Look, he should never have left. So, I am live and I have no time to be talking to someone. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look at the situation here. Cricket 360, the Wanderers ground there in South Africa, has always been one of great. Okay, I'm trying to concentrate on them. Let's have a look here. Go to Foxtel. Here we go. So, watch you on a TV today. Watch you on a TV today. Did you watch me on TV today? Explain to me what are you? Also, you've put the YouTube channel on the TV. Is that what you're doing? Let's have a look at that. Just trying to find the South African scenario. What's this? Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything going on either way at the moment. Looks like they're giving no updates yet from either. There appears to be no updates going on at the moment, so just got to have a look at the situation regarding what they're saying about the day's play at the moment. There appears to be a okay. Yeah, so there's been an official update. The play will, in fact, be delayed. So that's the latest weather update. Is spoken about drizzle, and there's an update being that the game will be delayed. So that's unfortunate for those that are waiting to watch in the Randwick stand. So night watchman, how much? Yeah, in the Randwick stand SCG. There's no Randwick stand in the SCG. There's a Randwick end of the SCG. There's no stand called the Randwick stand. So I'm not sure. So night watchman Himanshu Chaudhary. What have you changed the name of your program, have you? So effectively, the Indian team have been fantastic. I applaud them. I mean, I think that they deserve all the accolades they get, and they deserve to win this match, even though South Africa are in front. Range affecting play. It only help India, to be honest with you. And I think that get Elgar out. Bavuma's the only form of resistance that's left. Van der Dusen won't last long, so that really does see a change. It's very important for India not to lose strength. How long is the rain going on for? Well, at this stage, it seems to be no time frame given, but they use the word delay, not postpone. So I guess delay means it could well be, a period of upwards of an hour. No, now who will go out in Hobart when Head is coming in? That's a great. Look, in my opinion, Khawaja has done enough. Not enough. He's done more than enough. Khawaja has done more than enough to now not only keep his position in the Indian team, sorry, the Australian team. He should be in there permanently. I think Marcus Harris, I don't care if he got 70 odd and looked good in a difficult wicket. He scored 30 odd today. He did not go on with it. Khawaja came in and literally added 100 runs more than what he scored. And look, there should be no doubt that Usman Khawaja, this is his 9th Test century, 3,000 Test runs, looked absolutely self-assured. Faced the second new ball as if it was no big deal, left the ball beautifully, was under no pressure from any of the England bowlers. He is streets ahead of anyone in the opening positions for Australia. Even Warner is not batting as well as Khawaja. I would argue that Khawaja should be opening the batting in the Hobart Test with, let's say, Warner, and then Labuschagne, Smith, and then if they're going to put Travis Head back in, put Travis Head back in. But Marcus Harris has to be realistic. He's played 14 Test matches, 25 innings, and has not scored a century. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. I think there should be. There's no argument. I mean, we talk about Scott bowling in 6 for 7. He should be then dropped for Josh Hazlewood come back in. Very different story, because Josh Hazlewood has taken well over 200 wickets and has proven his place. And yes, Scott did very well, but it's only his first match. Whereas Khawaja's played, this is his 45th Test, 9 centuries, scored a century immediately upon return. Marcus Harris has not scored a century. So, yeah, and again, Harris is himself responsible for his criticism. He can't expect, it should be kept in. Why? He has not done what, okay, he's batted okay the last couple of times. It's just not good enough. I'm sorry, there's a person who's batting better than him, and he's proven that. And you would argue this innings of Australia, in the end, was held together by what Khawaja did. The 416 may well have been 316 or less had Khawaja gotten out. So looks like 4th Ashes will be drawn due to rain. Well, we'll see how England go. It's day 3 tomorrow. I mean, there's still 3 days left. You just don't know, but it is heading towards a day, or if the rain continues, yes, I would agree. And there's rain also in South Africa, as we've seen at the so-called Wanderers, the ground that's in Johannesburg there. I think that I don't think South Africa deserved to be in front here. They got 122 runs to win this match. It's scratch your head stuff. They're going to have to score the highest total they've scored in the entire 2 tests. The highest 229. I would argue that they're in a lot of trouble here. They seem to be in the ascendancy. If Elg continues to bat, now, if he goes on to score a century, yes, they'll win. But if he doesn't, if he gets out soon after starting play, we'll see a situation where they'll be under the pump. I hate to say this, but this Ashes series has been very boring. Too one-sided. I totally agree. Very, very one-sided. I mean, look, not from a lack of Broad and Anderson and Wood have certainly bowled their guts out, but the England batting line, Hamid looks scared out there. Zach Crawley was given out, but then not out. So yeah, it has been the least exciting. I would agree with that. So let's see Zach Crawley now get a century and Malanga put a bit of stick there. I say rest Warner and give Harris one last go. What do you think? No, I don't think we'd rest Warner for the sake of giving Harris. Why are we pandering to Harris? It'll be given his 15th Test match without scoring a century. Why are we giving him? What is he? Is he married to the chairman of the board or something? Why are we giving him such preferences? The bloke's not the best player of the team. He shouldn't be in the side. It's not about keep going. How many? Do we give him 55 tests that if he still hasn't scored, find some excuse? No, Khawaja has yet again stamped himself in this team, and he should not be dropped. Travis said, all due respect, yes. He did well a few tests ago. He hasn't done that well since, but he's done well. He should be in the side. Labuschagne and Smith, we know. Warner, yes. They've all got track records now. But Harris has not scored a damn run. He scored 70 odd, okay? But no centuries. He has to, the moment Khawaja gets a chance, the moment he walks out there, his very first opportunity, bang, century. And a pivotal century and a grafting century. But faced the second new ball with great aplomb. So I'm afraid that there's every tick of the box. Simon Kadich agreed. He was live to where he agreed. Didn't want to be so, he wanted to be a bit more diplomatic, but he didn't say drop Harris, but he said you can't leave Khawaja out. If you can't leave Khawaja out, Travis said we'll come back in, and you have to then find a place out of, and you can't add another batting line. You don't need to do that. There's one solution. You put Harris out. And Warner, does Warner deserve to be dropped? Whew, maybe not on batting forms necessarily, but attitude-wise, maybe. But I think Khawaja needs to be back on that opening spot. Simple. Any guess when the game was pretty much? I think the game will probably restart. Let's say, I'd say within an hour. We'll say, yes. Yes, he's just got a match-winning century. Yes, and he was on his way. He was disappointing 137. The man. No more excuses about Harris. No more excuses. Oh, but this and he got 70. Oh, how great! Khawaja comes in, bang, 100, bang. Harris is at 25 bloody innings and still hasn't scored. But we're finding excuses like the moon wasn't in the right spot and Harris had his shoelaces undone. What a load of crap. Drop him. Should have dropped him before the series started. He shouldn't have been there from the start. He took to the third or fourth test when he gets 70 and he's lord over that. Okay, that's another argument, but it's not going to happen. Green drops? No. Well, no, because of his all-round nature, you'll have to keep him in. He hasn't bowled much yet, but Khawaja has to be left in for Harris. Okay? Harris has got to go. I'm sorry. And if they don't do that, if Khawaja gets dropped, it's going to tick me off big time. We've talked about Khawaja all series, and he's come in there and he's gone, boom, 137. Harris will look good on 30 and stick. That's amateurish. If you're an opening batsman, you have no excuses not to get 100 at least once every so often. But he hasn't done it once. 70 odd. I'm sorry, this is not backyard cricket. It's not commendable. I'm sorry, it's not. Okay. Even if he scored 10% of his Test career runs for Pakistan, he would never have been dropped. It's interesting. But no, look, Khawaja's Australian. Okay, I forget. And he's played for Australia for 10 years now. Who's the select that keeps picking Harris? It must be his bloody brother-in-law or something. I reckon George Bailey's pretty good generally, but someone's Marcus Harris is probably somebody's brother-in-law, just as was the previous media manager for Cricket Australia. I think it was somebody's brother-in-law as well. How he's been kept on the wraps, I don't know. Okay. And next subcontinent tours, Khawaja and Warner should open. Khawaja is a good player of spin than Harris. They're actually saying that Khawaja's not a good player of spin, and that's awfully harsh. The way he played very well today. Overall, it isn't good to have two 35-year-old blokes opening. You will basically with Hamid and Crawley in the future. No, I don't agree. I don't think that's the problem. Khawaja's in an absolute purple patch, mentally and physically. He could go on for a couple of years at least. Even Warner's pretty damn fit, and I'd say he's warranted of being the two. The age is irrelevant. Look at James Anderson. 39 and bowling better than ever. His stats prove that. Look, I don't think it's age-based reasoning behind that. You've got to be able to bat. Marcus Harris is younger, but he damn well hasn't scored a century. What do we need to reflect on stats? You've played 14 test matches, and you're picked as the opener, someone who scores big runs, centuries on a regular basis. That's why you're there. Haven't scored once. It's not as if he scored 4 or 5 and having a bad patch. He has scored 0 centuries. 25 innings. You can't keep putting towels around him. He's got to be dropped. Okay, he's batting a bit better, but after being nurtured for 4 tests, Khawaja comes in there and bang, immediate century. Do you see Harris doing that? No. They can't keep waiting for this moment. Waiting for England to have 3 injuries in their bowling lineup and have Joe Root open their bowling with Milan. Then maybe, I reckon even then he wouldn't. Who would England open with Hamid and Zach? So look, Zach Crawley's a lot better batsman than we think. He's had a fairly lean period, but I think he's got a lot of quality. He's actually scored a double century for England. Okay? So he deserves to be there, I think. Hamid's still a bit iffy. What about with Will McCoskey? Why is he not playing? Well, Will McCoskey's had about 95 concussions. 95 concussions. The poor young bloke, he's got immense talent, but he keeps getting hit in the head and keeps having an injury. A major shoulder injury last year. He has played for Australia and is pretty good, though. Opening is the hardest. You need to groom youngsters like to open. Marcus is holding the place for Bukowski after 3 years. Marnus will be basically playing at 2-13. Harris is basically like Rogers. I'm sorry. I don't care what. Marcus Harris shouldn't be there, period. And Bukowski's good enough, he'll come back. So, yes, Will Bukowski played great cricket for the first time since it's probably half a dozen to a dozen concussions that he's had, and that's why he's been out. And yes, he's back. Henry and Tim Ward are way better than Harris. Yeah, they may well be, but Khawaja, having scored 9 centuries and a number of them opening the batting, should be first cab off the rank. He's in the squad. He's in the team. He should be in the opening spot. And he batted well the second new ball. He batted like there was no big deal. Okay, so what will the new era of England look like? The new era, well, England have got a lot of great talent. Well, I'm not going to be concerned with it. Broad Anderson, I think we had, so from Mike Atherton, he spoke, he said, just let it happen. Let's not talk about what happened next day. As Broad Anderson lose their positions, you've got Sakib Mahmood, you've got Ollie Robinson, you've got Overton, you've got Archer in the deep background there. They've got players. Batting is so weak. England batting is, I don't know whether the batting is necessarily weak. Zach Crawley and Milan, in particular Milan and Root, are particularly good. Bairstow and Butler, nothing wrong with them. Okay, they're all very good. Hamid, a bit shaky. Zach Crawley, we have yet to see him do something for a while. Don't forget, he scored 260 odd in a match not that long ago. Yeah, look, Khawaja is I don't know, but I think you're underrating what Khawaja's just done. He scored 137 in a 416 total when they were actually 4 down and struggling a bit last night. No, I think Khawaja's absolute class. Captaincy material, if you really want me to tell you. I know that we've got Pat Cummings there now as admirable, but I would say Khawaja, having captained Queensland to a Sheffield Shield final, he's well above the rest. And make the match a draw. Make that match a draw. What match are we talking about? Usman was from he's from Pakistan. He was born in Pakistan, but most of his cricket's been in Australia. And look, he's a good player against all levels. He played well today against all the bowl. He looked in complete and utter composure. The most beautiful batsman to watch. He really has got a lot of style. Over 3,000 test runs, a batting average of 42 at test level after 45 test matches. Why would you not even consider him in the side? Harris's batting average is 20 odd. Hello, out. I don't care if he got 70 on the other day. It's still not a century. One innings got 70 on. He's been batting there for 25 innings and has not got a century. There's no excuses. I saw him at Khawaja made 141 in UAE on square turn against Pakistan in 145. Usman Khawaja has proven himself yet again. Selectors have got no one's going to be dropped after scoring 137, especially when there are batsmen on the side that haven't scored a century who are opening after 25 innings. I don't care. I'll give Harris another go. Give him another go. No. Even if he gets runs in the second innings, which he won't have an opportunity to. No. Sorry. It's time. Realistically, the series should have started with Khawaja in the side, potentially with Head, and Harris shouldn't have been there from the start. They persisted. He stuffed around, scratched around. Head got. In fact, Australia's been winning so easily, has kept Harris in the squad. So that's not good enough. Australia have to now seriously have Usman Khawaja. We can't just say it's his first innings, can we drop? No. It's his 45th test match. And he scored his 9th test century. Not first, second, or third. 9th. How many centuries has Harris scored? He scored a 70. Oh, wow. No, sorry. I'm quite upset about this. We need another Shane Warne clone, spinner with charisma to boot. Well, John Carver. Was it John Carver that I used to go to school with? Anyway, I don't want to get too uppity about all this. What's the update on the situation in Africa? So they talk about Team India's bowling to be one of the best in the world ever, yes. So the belief of the Indian team now is that they've got to chase, they've got to stop 122 runs, they can do it. I agree with that. The attitude of Shami, Bumrah, obviously Siraj is fit, has got to be, right, 120 runs, they're not going to get that. We're going to get them all out. That should be the attitude now, and I hope that is what they think. Stark's no ball. That was unfortunate, yes. BBL updates Heater 5 for 121 after 18. Well, yeah, that's true. Harris' time has come as an opener. Usman is better than Harris. Marcus has never scored a century. Exactly, Robert. It's painfully obvious. And there's a big stamp being put on the match today after Khawaja comes in and scores 137 and both faced the second new ball and did not flinch, batted brilliantly. He is clearly in the side. His experience is enormous. It puts a great enormity of confidence around the batting lineup. When he was there in the team, it was just fantastic. I mean, Travis said, I'll give him credit, his first match he really thumped a good 150. It's gone a bit down from there, but yeah, he's deserving of his position. I'm not going to deny that. But ultimately, Khawaja does too. So it's time we all talk to George Bailey. I hope George Bailey is watching this because, for God's sake, leave Khawaja right there. To hell with the result, it doesn't matter. Where is... I'm going to ring up some people here. Shane Warne's a legend. Yes, I agree with that.
Hi, Norman. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Gurkharat Singh Gill, I am live on YouTube and I'm waiting for you to join me. You've been absent.
Yeah, Norman, someone's in my family been admitted. They've not been well.
Okay, no problems.
And, yeah. Also today is my birthday. I thought I'd let you know.
Is your birthday today?
Yeah.
Okay, viewers, happy birthday to Gurkharat Gill. He's online. Happy birthday. How old are you now? 21?
26.
26?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, you have a wonderful birthday, all right?
Yeah. Thank you. Hope it's a great year for you as well. And hope the COVID restrictions are not that hard in Australia.
Well, I have COVID, Gil. I have COVID.
I hope you get well soon, Norman.
I will. Maybe it'll make you lose some weight. All right. Thanks for joining, Gurkharat Gill. We've had him live on the phone here. You take care. Talk to you soon. Ciao. So it's Gurkharat Gill's birthday. That's why he's not here. So Brendan Julian on Fox Sport says Ashes coverage even said that drop Harris and bring in Usman as an opener. It's not really about dropping Marcus Harris. It shouldn't be looked at as dropping Marcus Harris. The best team for Australia or for any match should be selected, correct? You pick the best side to win that match, correct? Right. If a person hasn't scored a century in his 25 attempts, no matter how good he may or may not be at a domestic level, how he went pretty well over in England or whatever. This is Australia. On these wickets, he hasn't performed. This is his fourth test in a row. Usman Khawaja comes in and goes, bang. I'll do it again. Bang. Scores a century. Leave him in the side. And he can open. He scored centuries as an opener. He scored 50s as an opener. Okay. So There's no doubt that you leave a person in the side if you can both open play, middle order. He's a sensationally dependable player. 45 Test matches, 9 centuries now. Young child there, stable background. It all seems, clear as bell. Now, don't disappoint me, George Bailey. Do not disappoint me and put Khawaja in with some rubbish excuse that, give another go. No, he doesn't need any more goes. It's not about that. He scored a 70. You fancy grabbing onto a player's score of 70. Oh, he got 70. How good he is. No, it's not 100. Khawaja, bang, 137. No questions. Not even a question. Oh, what? The stars were aligned for Khawaja. That's why I got 137. That's why Harris didn't. No, it's time you make that decision. Okay, simple. No, I'm not. Himanshu Chowdhury, what has me not criticizing Bailey? Are you not understanding what I'm saying? I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm saying you cannot leave Khawaja out now. The World Cup title was not due to George Bailey, by the way. It was due to the team. And that particular unit did very, very well, including Mitchell Marsh, which I'll commend on his efforts. Justin Langer decided to take a step back, and the bowling unit bowled as well. And Hazelwood was very much a standout. The reality is that was a very good tournament, and George Bailey, albeit a pretty good selector, he didn't win the World Cup. We're talking about a selection of a player. Every statistical piece of information that I can produce today on Khawaja, hands down, batting average 42, 9 centuries, 45 Test matches, the way he went about his century, the facing the second new ball, consummate, experience provides the whole batting unit lifts. The 416 they score has lifted. Travis Head did a great job with his 150 on that first match. It was very commendable. But even since that point, it wasn't spectacular what's gone on. I definitively think that we've got the right man in the team there, and Harris has to be given a break. I'm sorry. Especially when it comes to the subcontinent tours. We're not going to England, so I'm sorry. It is time to leave Khawaja right where he is. A military stronghold, especially a strong fortified town. Okay, we're talking about something else. Okay, I'll explain again. I do not criticise Bailey. Bailey is a breath of fresh air. I think Trevor Holmes had his day. I think we've got a good selector there. He's generally a very good selector. And now that Khawaja's in the side, and I hear a lot of this noise from players going, "Oh, look at the 70 of that Harrison." No, that's not right. You don't applaud a 70, you applaud centuries. And opening batsman's put in the team score a century. You bat 25 innings, 14 tests, you don't score one, out. Khawaja first one in, bang. It's a no-brainer. And that's not being criticising George Bailey, it's just stating fact. Yeah, I think Terence Alden's got a very good point here as well. Similar to the Khawaja situation, India have been a bit disappointed by not having Sky as in Surikumar Yadav and Shreyas Iyer in the side. Yes, I would agree with that. I think Rahane and Pujara did score 50s, yes. But in the tone of this match, if they do lose, which I'm still not saying they will lose, 120 runs, there's a big tall order for South Africa. Elgar has to stay there. If they do lose, you may attribute the first innings effort of Pujara and Rahane to this loss. But it is time to consider the stats on Sky and not Shreyas Iyer for the side. And then you've got Gill coming back and you've got Rohit Sharma. So Pujara, but then it's difficult with Pujara and Rahane. They have scored big runs and they have scored big centuries. And they've got a history too. So it's a difficult dichotomy, but I do agree we have to forgive it the same way. Lehman scoring 60 for the Heat. We're talking about Jake Lehman. That's Darren Lehman's son, correct? Yeah. I can't get into detail when we're discussing Test cricket here between Australia and England and India and South Africa. And let's not forget, let's go back again one more time to the discussion of what transpired with Bangladesh and New Zealand. Our Aussie team has a good backups for paces, but what about spinners? Yeah, we have a lack of spinners at the moment. I would agree. Swepson's not going to be the answer. That's my thought. Who'll be the third spinner? Well, Agar has to come into play. You would hope that Zampa would as well. Swepson, I'm not sure. Warner has 25 century. That's called an opener. Yes, Warner has done it. Warner scores century. That's why he's there. Smith scores centuries. Labuschagne scores centuries. Travis Head scored centuries. Harris no centuries. Khawaja 9. Could have been 10 or 11 this summer had he played from Test 1. That's the difference. For the Test matches that Harris has played now, which is now, this is his 4th, that means he's about his 7th time he hasn't scored a century. Khawaja would have scored 2 or 3. I can assure you. Will Ashwin play a crucial role today? Well, I don't know whether the wicket's conducive to him, but I think Shami will be significant. And Thakur, what a legend he is. 7 wickets in the previous innings, scores runs, an absolute fine for India. Ray PMB 7 News. Watching 7 News, Sydney. I'm watching 7 News. Well, that's right. That's you're watching me on the screen actually now. I'm not watching that. That's only a bit of background noise. So will Ashwin should definitely be a consideration there. So India, South Africa scored 122. I still think the Indian bowling line, which is one of the best in the world at the moment, if they approach it the right way, if they get Elgar out early and potentially Bavuma or Vanadussen's not going to be there long. You watch the wickets fall very quickly and the pressure. John Carver, bring back Viv Richards, Joel Garner, Mike Holding, now that high class of cricket. John Carver, did I go to school with you? I think I did. No, I went to school with John Carver. He's obviously my age because he's reminiscing with the West Indies greats. What is your squad for Aussies versus India and India? Well, that's not for some time. In fact, Australia are not going to India. Australia are going to they're going first and foremost. Australia going first and foremost to, I think it's Pakistan, and then ultimately they're going to, I think, we're going to Sri Lanka as well. Yeah, we're playing some subcontinent cricket there, well and truly, but the Pakistan series will be enthralling because Pakistan will not be easy. Pakistan are virtually around I'd say the 4th position on the ladder. I think Australia. No, so this is the way it goes. India's first, New Zealand, despite losing to Bangladesh, a second. Australia's probably 3rd now. England, I thought, was 4th. 5th would be Pakistan. Maybe then 6th, South Africa, and the rest follow. West Indies may float around there somewhere too, but yeah, you would argue that that's where we sit in terms of the listing of Test teams. So Australia, who I'm saying are 3rd, could well be playing 5th team, Pakistan, which will give them a bit of a shake. Certainly. So the Australian team, I believe Maxwell gets a chance to go. I hope Zampa and even Agar get a chance to go on those tours, but the rest of the Australian team's there. Khawaja's a certainty now. Should have been a certainty all the way along. Khawaja should have been in the side from the very first test. Marcus Harris has snuck behind the pack, got in there, and has. I'm sorry, it took him to the 3rd test to get 70 odd, and look, it didn't win in the match. And it's not a century. Don't make a 70 odd runs a century, please. So India, to me, let's have a look at the latest stories on India. Again, those that are viewing now, please view, like, and share the post on Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kostek. You can see I've got hats, I've got the shirt, I've even got the spray jacket here, which is the North Face. Can you see it? There it is there. I love my jacket. North Face, the great brand, actually. All right, so punt. Which side would you take other USAs into? I don't. Ray PMB, Mark Ferguson is a good news anchor. I know that. We'll just stop watching the back screen. Rishabh punts on shaky ground, I must admit. He certainly is. Did you hear what else happened here in Australia about Novak Djokovic? He's got some cockamamie document to say that he's exempt from having vaccinations because of some rubbish. Somehow has arrived in Australia's doorstep on our border, and we've said, mate, the paperwork's not good enough. Tell us the truth, and he won't do that. He's held in quarantine now in a asylum level hotel, not allowed to move until they go to some high court action, which could take till Monday. And then if he's not acceptable, he's out. And the Serbian government have gone nuts. It's been a crazy old moment. My question is why New Zealand players always second test matches in any series. It's true. New Zealand, it's box office, I'm afraid. That's why New Zealand only have two test series. It's just simply a financial issue. They for some reason are simply not given enough to get more than two tests, which is very sad. New Zealand deserve better than that. And in some bizarre way, it's actually benefited Abernay. That's actually benefited them because they've actually been able to sneak through on a few series and get through to second. Now, I'm not saying they don't deserve to be second. Certainly, India deserved to be first. New Zealand second, Australia third. Fourth, England, but I would say Pakistan fifth. That's the top five. South Africa is very long sixth. Then you've got, obviously Sri Lanka and West Indies around there somewhere too. And that's really Bangladesh. Bangladesh can be anywhere, but they've done so well. John Carver, excellent. What are you? Is this the John Carver that I went to? John Carver, would you admit to being the person I went to school with? Please, for the record. What is your squad for Aussie versus? I talked about that before gaming with Purunjay. I said, keep the Australian Test squad as it stands now, but Harris out, Khawaja in. Then you would have people like Maxwell Zampa, Agar in the squad, and Mitchell Marsh, who has certainly regained some momentum with his World Cup form and was pushing for Test selection. Cameron Green is on. He's got some great bowling attributes and fielding attributes. Batting's been a bit wonky. He needs to go back and work on that. Noel Rodriguez playing in Geelong. That's correct. Ray PMB. No, where are you again? Where are you based? Because the Melbourne Renegades aren't much of a team anyway. So, all right. Naresh Manaskar, look at you.
Very, very good evening to you, Norman.
Have you got rid of your moustache?
No. I've just cut short my hair.
You look different.
Otherwise,
you cut your hair?
Yeah, a little bit.
I've got COVID.
Oh. Yeah.
But I'm fine.
Yeah. I think it should be mild. But where are you currently? I don't think you're at home. It looks like a hotel.
Because I've got COVID. I'm in a hotel.
Okay.
And you can see the view. Have a look at this view. Can you see the view? What do you see, Naresh? What do you see out there?
Yeah. So I see a street with some cars.
In the distance, do you see planes?
Okay, so it's close to the airport. Yeah, I can see the planes.
Yeah, domestic airport. Yeah. Can you see planes?
Yeah, I can see a plane over there. Yeah.
And there's like a tower there. That's where I am.
Okay.
So I'm there. So,
but you had gone for the Adelaide test.
Yes.
Okay. You were
I'm
fine
in Sydney, my home ground, Sydney. I'm here. I can't go.
Oh, you can't go, yeah.
Isn't that frustrating?
Very absolutely frustrating, yeah.
I could have lied, Naresh. I could have lied. I could have said I was fine, walked straight in the venue with COVID and not been in any trouble. But I didn't want to do that for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that's not good to do. Yeah.
So this is an amazing test match. It's still rain delayed, isn't it, Naresh?
Yeah, rain delay and quite a lot of rain. So, and Norman, if you remember, even the first test, India was following the weather more. There was aggression in the way they were batting because they wanted to force a result, especially after the second day got washed out. India had the advantage of day one. Yesterday's approach, I think the wicket is very tricky. You can't just hang around. You need to counter attack. We saw that especially from Pujara and Rahane. But both the innings, I felt 50 runs more would have had a very different test match scenario at this point of time. So South Africa, you can say today is a bit on an upper hand because they're already halfway through with just 2 wickets down. But yeah, India is pushing through considering the weather. And I think this was in their mind. Day 4 could be very difficult to get a game.
Okay, there's something that I want to talk about here. And that's the fact that despite the fact that people think that South Africa are going to win this test match because of the position, I don't subscribe to that view. I think that this is a tall order for them. If if Dean Elgar gets out, they could fall over like a pack of cards. They've done it in all 3 innings. 2 innings not over 200. This one they got 229. They've got every chance of not actually going anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. And if you remember, I think 2018 similar scenario, same venue. It was only Dean Elgar. He got a 76 odd, but no one else could support him. So I think that's what India would like to do, is how they can quickly get the other side, especially who's on the other side. Van der Dusen. He looked very tentative to Ashwin, you know. So
Van der Dusen. Oh my God, I've got no time for Van der Dusen at all. I think he's a very ordinary player. He's overrated something horrid, if you ask me.
yeah, he's more a white ball specialist, but yeah, they also
he's not
looking at yeah.
I think they've given him too much credit. I think, don't you?
I feel David Miller would have been a better number 4, number 5 playing Test cricket, but he doesn't play, or he has not been looked at.
Yeah, I've just received the so-called I've received the link to a video of the press conference that's happened in Australia. Look, okay, talk to me about your thoughts about Khawaja and today.
Oh wow, I'm very happy. I'm sure Norman, even you're happy. Khawaja getting 100, getting a call back purely because of Travis Head not being available. But as I said earlier, Khawaja, if he was there in the squad against India, it would have been a little different. But yeah, it's good to see he's getting 100. But the test of this lineup, because I think even Australia is feeling confident that this is a good test side lineup they are getting. But the test will be this year when they tour Asia. Pakistan, Sri Lanka, I think. Yeah, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and India. That would be the test. And with Travis Head himself, Khawaja, David Warner, 3 left-handers, but I think they're all 30 plus. That's going to be a very, very serious test for them.
Look, Khawaja's got a batting average of 42. This is his 9th Test century. He batted well against the second year ball like it was an opening batsman. He scored century as an opening batsman. It's almost like a blind Freddie stat. It's obvious that he should be played in front of Harris.
He should have, yeah. But then that didn't happen in the first 3 games. Harris got his opportunities. I think 76 has been his highest in this Ashes. So yeah, that's the weak link. Harris is a weak link, and Cameron Green is a weak link if he's considered an all-rounder. He's just not been able to do much with the bat. So yeah, these are 2 weak links currently. Otherwise, the entire batting looks well established and experienced. And other test in Asia would be Labuschagne. He's been spoken very highly over there. But yeah, how he's going to perform in Asia is going to be his test too.
Yeah, they seem to knock Khawaja for his form. I don't quite know why, because it's something of a... He did get dropped today off a nick through the keeper to Root. But despite that, he's batted fantastically. Imagine, there's some frustrations existing with Khawaja as it is with India, with Shreyas Iyer and even Sky. Those players they're demanding to play for India, but because of the Pujara Rahane scenario, they're being left out. Vihari made his way into the side, which I'm not knocking Vihari, but I think. But was Shreyas Iyer injured? Was that the reason why he didn't play?
Even he had he wasn't 100% fit, but I backed Vihari to come in purely because it's been a year. We last saw him in Sydney, that draw. Then he was sent early to England.
Sorry, yeah. To me, there's no doubt that Vihari deserved his chance, right?
Yeah, he was sent early to England. He didn't get an opportunity. He was sent early with India A, and he scored 350s against South Africa A. So he was little more used to the conditions. So I think that was the right one. Shreyas Iyer, yeah, but I still feel Shreyas should get an opportunity. Maybe not this overseas tour, but his test is going to be how he plays pace in overseas conditions, Shreyas Iyer. But he looked good. Vihari looked good yesterday. What we saw a little bit, 40 he scored. But coming back to, Norman, your
Sorry,
point
so
on...
I need to make this clear, Naresh. Shreyas Iyer was injured, or was he not injured?
He wasn't
Okay.
100% fit.
So that's
Yeah,
the reason why he didn't get put ahead of Vihari.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's okay then. It's understandable.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So, Norman, your
So
point on... yeah, Norman.
Go on, you go ahead.
No, on Rahane and Pujara, I think there has been a lot of concerns, a lot of criticism, and still not, in spite of what they did yesterday, it's still not convincing that they have their place, secured. But if you remember Lords a few months back, day 4, there was a similar partnership by both of them. They, I think, batted for 3 hours plus, got 100 runs together. Though it was overshadowed next day by Shami and Bumrah's partnership. So in the current context of the game, I think yesterday's partnership of 111, very, very critical to at least get India to have 240 to defend. But yeah, we are not convinced how long these two can. But we know once they are dropped, could be the end for them. But what disappointed me yesterday...
when you say it could be the end for them, it's not a matter of it being the end for them. I think it's more a matter of it's just they've had a great time. It's not like they have to really prove anything.
Yeah. They've done very well for India. No doubt about that. But yeah, it's been Norman, 2021 India finished number 1 again on the Test ranking, and the entire year we didn't have all 3 of them, Rahane, Pujara, Kohli, score 100. So how important the bowlers have been, how the bowlers have given those results to India the entire year of 2021. And that's the concern, how long we will go on with 3, 4, 5 struggling. And Shreyas Iyer, who made his debut at number 5, scored 100 or 4 or 5. But that was at home. So that could be the only concern, that he has done well at home. My concern yesterday was Rishabh Pant.
Tell me about that.
Last in Australia he did well. Yes, Sydney and Gaba can go down as his best so far. He did well in India against England, but his approach in England and here, what we saw yesterday, stepping out to a spearhead fast bowler, when you're not even opened your account, he's young, that's not the right approach, to be honest. Hi Bairam.
Hi Naresh, how are you? Good to see you. Long time.
Good. How are you?
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year, Norman. I know you're now in
Happy New Year,
isolation.
Naresh. I didn't say that. Naresh, is that Virendra Sehwag next to you? I'm not sure. Sometimes I think it's
next to me. Oh, okay.
I'm joking. Okay, just a quick second. I must quickly interrupt. I'm very happy about Shripali Virakoti. We both had on the show. She opened up a fitness centre yesterday. It's a great fanfare. Did you see the place, guys? 2 stories.
In Colombo.
Lovely art. Huh? Well, you were on the show, wasn't you? Yeah.
Okay.
And Arjuna Ranatunga was there for the opening. I should have been there for the opening, but because I'm not well, I was here. I'm very proud of her. Very, very proud moment.
No, I was yesterday in a restaurant by the name of Ministry of Crab. And I came to know it's owned by Jayasuriya and some of the cricketers.
Well, so there's one in the Philippines as well.
Yeah.
Because I've been to the one that's in Colombo, the first one.
Okay. So some cricketers, I don't know whom exactly, but that's what they were saying. Ministry of Crab. So
must be a franchisee model. Yeah, must be a franchisee model. Yeah.
So Ministry of Crab exists in Colombo. And that is owned by Sangakkara and Jayawardena, with another very well-known chef who runs it. I've met him. I've eaten there. I've been there with, of all people, what's his name? I've been with Jeff Lemon, who has his own YouTube channel as well. Jeff Lemon's a good friend of mine.
Let me tell you, Dorman, the food was good, no fact, but very expensive. Big hole in the pocket.
I know. I paid $150 a person when I went
Yeah.
there, and it was also.
Yeah, Behram, that's why you remember Jayasuriya and these guys, right? Because of the cost, because of the price you pay.
I can tell you, I brought Jeff Lemon there, Shripali, and another girl, and I shouted them all. It cost me $650 for the meal, Australian dollars,
Oh.
which is huge. Jeff Lemon, who was not doing well financially at the time, was traveling, doing his journalistic work, was getting very little money. I don't think he had eaten for a few days. I brought him along. He went in there, had this massive, he wanted everything in sight. He was eating the crab like there was no tomorrow. He gorged on all this crab. You know what happened in the end? He left and he vomited the whole thing up.
Oh.
And I was so upset. I said, "You've just vomited $150 of food that I put down your throat, you bugger." Anyway.
That's interesting.
All right, so what's the solution to Pujara and Rahane? They both got 50s, which was very commendable, okay? What are they going to do? Are we looking... Look, I'll just quickly say what Mike Atherton said today on television regarding Broad and Anderson, because everybody's discussing what's going to happen after Broad and Anderson, blah, blah, blah. And he said, let it just happen. Let it just happen. Don't overthink the thing. Is that what we're doing about Rahane and Pujara, or are we not? What's the story there?
My take on it, it has to be on a per match basis now. Like they need to perform every match to, if still like after this performance, like let's say for the next 10 innings also they don't perform or very lackluster performance and they're still in the team, I would say that's very, very wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
What do you
and
think,
Norman,
Paresh?
off late we see some score coming from them in the second innings. The first inning failure continues, and you can't have 3, 4, or 5 senior guys with that kind of inconsistency. So as I said, they got 50s, but honestly, you cannot say they have bailed themselves out. Yeah,
So
the
it's
result.
too little too late. Too little too late is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I agree. Look, if India lose this test match, not that you think that they haven't played badly this test match. They've fought very, very hard, and they could well win this still. But is that a trigger that they should then consider Pujara's position? We've got Shubman Gill, you got Rohit Sharma, you got Shreyas Iyer, you got Sky, and a bucket load of other guys. It's time they start to do things.
I would, in fact, right now put a big question mark on Rahane and Pant. Like Pant also a big question mark.
And that's the difference, Norman, Pujara and Rahane, if you see the way they get out and you compare it to the way Rishabh Pant is getting out, you in the end you have to put them in the same bucket to say, what are you guys doing? A pair who are very well experienced around the world, struggling with footwork or being able to play their defense, whereas Rishabh Pant cannot continue to be reckless this way against leading fast bowlers. He did that with Rabada yesterday. He has done it with Anderson in England. Yes, he did that with Anderson in India, but that's different. The bounce is little lower, so he could connect. But I agree with Behram. Rishabh Pant needs to be also on scanner, because if we say that Shreyas Iyer did well in India in the last test, so did Wriddhiman Saha. So when you have options, you need to really put these guys under the lens that, okay, this is all you can do, and after that you'll be replaced.
Okay. Do you think the selectors of India are different to, say, England, where Silver with the coach has the complete carte blanche to do what he wants at the moment, which is not working? Rahul Dravid's influence is there too. He certainly is promoting the junior players. He probably wants to see Shreyas Iyer and the like come into the side. I'm pretty sure of that. Pujara's 6,000 odd runs. Rahane, I'll tell you what I think about Rahane. I know that he's very stats driven. Apparently, he hasn't reached 5,000 test runs And if you look at quick info, you become a test player when you score 5,000 test runs. It's almost like the watershed amount of runs. I've got a feeling he wants to ink that before he retires, which is terrible, but his days are numbered. He's no longer vice captain. So they've obviously sending a message. They're sending a massive message to him saying, right, you're on the way out. Okay? And the way they batted yesterday was desperation scoring. Pujara was batting out of his skin, which annoyed me more than ever because Pujara all of a sudden is aggressive and looked pretty good. Where has that been of late? So he had to be.
So that's what, Norman, this has happened with Pujara a few months back in the second inning. We have seen that happening in the second time around. Yes, until Gaba, he was consistent in both the innings. No doubt about that a year back. But he has struggled in the first leg, and in the second inning, he has had a very different approach. And you're right, if the issue is related to a mental issue of the approach, then that needs to be addressed by him being out of the side, not him being in the middle of the ground.
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head. I mean, we can't. It's very. Look, I'll take you back at a time when Australia had their heyday with Greg Chappell and all those players, right? And Greg Chappell had 7 ducks. A guy called Neil Harvey, who was a personal friend of mine, ex-Australian player, legend in the game, 93. He said, "You pick and stick, okay?" And they consistent with it. Now that's a fair assumption. I've got no problems with that as a team squad. But when the team dynamics are ruined by a player, then it's another concern. Pujara and Rahane have had long careers, arguably long careers. They're not going to go without a fight, I think. They want to keep their positions, all right? So it's going to take some very careful selectors' efforts to work out what their plan is. They need to tell Pujara, which I think they did do, your days are numbered, guys. They must have been sent a message yesterday on the ground. They must have been told, right, get runs or you're out next test. I'm sure they were given that wind-up, don't you? Because they had this urgency about their play that was quite scary. They were really almost like panicking.
Agree, but they played well. They played well, Norman. Like they were not. It was not like a Rishabh Pant kind of thing. Like just go out and hit him. They were leaving the good balls and hitting the bad ones. So and that's how they should play moving forward. And I would say yes, they get one more chance, but it should be perform or out.
But Norman, as you said, that Rahane was not given the responsibility of vice captain, so that was a message enough. In Australia, when Virat Kohli was not available, Rahane was captain and Pujara was vice captain. So even Pujara was not made the vice captain for this tour. So I think both of them have the message that it's
perform of this match. Who's vice captain for this match?
Bumrah was vice captain.
It's not official. It's not official. Bumrah, it's not official. Nowhere is it said official. Bumrah is for the ODI. People are thinking it's for year.
Yeah. No, but I think I'll have to recollect or have a look again. BCCI Twitter handle had put up before the toss was done. Bumrah is vice captain for this. And then someone commented that the first 6 was hit by the vice captain. I think the first inning, the only 6 was hit by Bumrah.
I did not find it anywhere official in the who's the vice captain. Even for South Africa, who's the vice captain, I could not find it officially.
I think it's Makram. I'm not sure, but I think it's Makram.
Yeah, but it's a bit of an interesting one though, because is there too much emphasis being played on who's vice captain though? Because anyone look. Dave Warner at the moment at first slip is barking instructions. He's not vice captain. I almost wonder whether the vice captaincy position is almost a leadership team rather than a vice captain. Anyway,
what do you think? Norman, I would put it in 2 ways. There are 2 models where people work on. One is there is a captain and you are grooming the vice captain to become the captain. That is one model, and second model is the team the leadership team where the captain, like in case of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, it's not that you are grooming one, but it's like a leadership group, like how exactly we mentioned it for the for Australia, like as you mentioned, like earlier when we had Warner, we had Smith together. So that was the leadership group, and maybe even one more person on the team who, though there is no title available, but they are the leadership group. So that is, so I think these are the two models on which a team captaincy works.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Norman, it wouldn't be that KL Rahul is not taking Ajinkya Rahane's assistance in this test. I mean, it won't be kind of just because Rahane is not the vice captain or the captain in absence of Virat, he has no say. Obviously, he's a senior guy, so KL Rahul will. And in the end, even if you look at DRSs, there are 5 or 6 people giving you advice. So it cannot be that KL Rahul is calling the shots on his own. It's just that you need one guy's neck to be caught at the end of the game. Who's the leader?
I mean, you can put the word vice captain against anyone's name. Let's be honest. It only comes to be an issue when the captain is actually falling injured as off the field. They usually default to the vice captain. But in terms of decision making, it's only going to be the toss that would be of any concern, really. So what is Himanshu Chaudhary saying? He can't believe that Sean Marsh is still playing. Well, a lot of blokes at his age that are playing still. I tell you what, Mitchell Marsh is probably very close to making a resumption as well, don't you think?
I think he got called in, right, for the squad. He's in the squad currently. It's just that he's not in the 11.
No, I think Cameron Green has to look over his shoulder because I don't think they're going to be far away from selecting him again, because he certainly has gained some prominence, hasn't he? There's no doubt about that. Okay, with his short form efforts, not his test efforts. And there is a difference, for sure. All right. Go on, guys. Talk. You're talking fantastically. It's good to have you guys back. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, the team is back. The Norman's come.
I mean, I feel like I'm back to normal now, so that's one good thing.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what we want, Norman back to normal.
Let me have a look here quickly. What's the story at the moment? What are they saying?
Still drizzling.
Slight drizzle. Yeah. The super sopper is hanging about, and it is still drizzling out there, so we will have to wait for some more time. Yeah. So I mean, drizzle's not a bad term, is it? Drizzle's pretty good. Let me just turn some light on for you guys. We're now getting a bit dark. Do you want me to have the background? Let me have a look. Get the lights in here.
You are bright and shiny, Norman.
So, Behram, BCCI Twitter 3 days back, just after the toss, when they put up the playing 11, they have mentioned in brackets KL Rahul bracket C, Jasprit Bumrah bracket VC. So they have mentioned.
Okay.
Official
but
BCCI.
in the team sheets, that's not mentioned. I think it's not required nowadays or what, but in the team sheets, I checked the team sheets. Neither for South Africa nor for India, the vice captain was mentioned.
Cameras off. Question?
Hang on, sorry. I'm just trying
to. If you have a question, raise your hand and we'll try to get it.
I've got videos turning on here. Hang on. My apologies.
What, you're watching some naughty stuff, Norman?
I'm not watching any
alone in the room.
I'm doing two things here, guys. I'm not trying to upload a video on. I've just uploaded Usman Khawaja. And look, guys, was I right about Usman Khawaja or was I right? Didn't I talk about him earlier on?
No, you were fully right on Usman Khawaja. No.
How could you not have Usman Khawaja in your test team? Did you see his innings today? Did you actually see his innings? Absolutely.
I saw the little after.
Incredible innings. The most polished, the most measured. Second new ball didn't. He looked the best. Okay, Travis said did well with his 150 on the first match. Okay. But overall, he's looked the best batsman out of the Australian team by a country mile. He has experience and actually should be the next Australian captain. And he should have been the captain, in my opinion, before Pat Cummins. Not because Pat Cummins hasn't done a good job, but because he won a state Sheffield Shield competition last year for Queensland, the best in Australia, as captain. Okay? He is a captain. Pat Cummins is a good leader. Whether he's a captain, I don't know. But anyway, the thing is, he should be in the side as one of the senior players. And Australia are a different team with him there. Okay, even Dave Warner talked about that. Dave Warner has played. Do you know that Dave Warner and Usman Khawaja have played together since childhood?
No, I didn't knew that.
No, that not known. Yeah.
They both played in the same junior teams. Like we're talking 8, 9, 10 years of age.
Oh.
Interesting, isn't it? They had a similar. They played together multiply at all levels. They both played for Randwick Petersham. Okay, they both have had a lot of history together, and Dave Warner. But isn't that even more bizarre? Isn't that even more bizarre? David Warner and Usman Khawaja have been playing together since they were bloody kids. What a better opening partnership can you get than that? Naresh.
Yeah, and you're right. If
That's
Harris can be
Sachin,
considered.
Sachin and Kambli.
Sachin and Kambli, yeah. And Harris is also a left-hander, right, Norman?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then obviously Khawaja should be given preference before Harris because you are playing another left-hander to replace him. If the thought process is a right and left combination, then it's a different thing. But Harris is also a left-hander. So Khawaja should be playing ahead of him.
I mean, it almost makes me embarrassed that you've got two players that know each other's games back to front from childhood.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they make a perfect marriage as opening batters? I mean, I should be bloody. I'm not, and again, I'm not knocking George Bailey, please. He's not a bad selector. I think he's a great, refreshing person. But it sounds to me as if I'm almost thinking that Marcus Harris is married to somebody who's the chairman of the board or something. I mean, you're batting for 14 bloody matches and you're still opening the batting after 25 innings, haven't scored a century, and you're getting excited about a 70. Anyway, all right. I'll get off my high horse. I think I've got too good a case there. I might embarrass some people if I keep talking.
Yeah, but
No,
this is
and
not
that's what Norman.
this is not something new.
Behram, if Khawaja was there when India toured, things could have been different. They ignored him against India. They had Wade and Head both in the side. So,
Yep.
anyways, that mistake was made, getting corrected.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and watch, okay, mark my words. I've talked about Khawaja enough, right? I've also talked about Jason Sangha. Now, Jason Sangha played really well for the Sydney Thunder the other day, right? He got 9 off.
Just a second, Norman. I'll write them down. Yeah.
Jason Sangha, Sangha. He will be a future Australian captain. He was the Australian under-19 captain, and he should have bloody well been captain by now. He hasn't quite got there batting-wise. He scored centuries against everybody. England, Sri Lanka. Whenever they tour Australia, he scores centuries against them in Australia A matches. He's a consummate. He's another Khawaja, even better. And he should be captain of Australia. Give it a couple of years.
Jason Sangha, Australia captain. Noted.
Yep.
Noted, Norman. Jason Sangha, Australia captain.
Are you being cheeky? Well, I'm telling you now. I mean, there's nothing about. Okay. So we got any updates on the cricket?
Grumpy Pegs is asking the elephant in the room question. Why was he not picked?
Partly Justin Langer didn't like him. He's fairly forthright in what he says. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he's quite strong and quite cheeky on that. Look, I think he had some strong words to say about some of the coaching techniques and the approaches, and he didn't like it. And Khawaja can be a little bit lazy, and sometimes he got out to some lazy shots, and they didn't like that. His fielding, he's a very good slipper, very good gully / slipper. Outfielding is pretty good, but he's not as good an arm. but they were a bit heavy on him there. I think they overemphasised that, but he didn't get along with somebody, and I'm pretty sure it was Justin Langer. And they don't talk. They talk highly about, Harris is 70, but they're talking up his innings today, yes, about Khawaja, but not dramatically. There's a little bit of reservation there. Anyway, all right.
No, by the way, when is Langer's coaching stint ending, Norman?
April, May, his contract goes.
So for sure it won't be extended, or what's the talk in the town?
Well,
or what's the talk in Sydney?
There's no hope in hell he was going to be extended back before the World Cup. He was out for sure. He was out before the Ashes series. It was that severe. Because he was told to take a step back, hands off, not pressure. He did that. He went to the back of the room and let the players do all the decision making. So he's almost like an assistant rather than a coach. They won the World Cup. Now, is that because Justin Langer did a good job? I don't know. I don't think so. Now, in the Test series, he's taken that similar approach, giving more freedom. Because really, Justin Langer and Tim Payne were in one corner, and the likes of Steve Smith and Warner were in another corner. There was some distinction between those people. Now, the dynamics have changed. Payne's gone. Pat Cummins has come in. He's happy with everybody. Smith and Warner have come to the fore again, and Langer's taken a step back. That's the dynamics which is working for Australia. Okay? So Langer's improved his situation, but I wouldn't say he deserves it. Okay. All right. So that's the latest on that one. So Justin Langer is really still shouldn't be extended beyond April, May, is my answer. Okay. But he's going to try and Nick Hockley and the high performance guys have said they're going to talk about it after the Ashes. In other words, they're still not convinced, but they've got a chance. All right.
Norman, you're echoing.
I don't know why, because I'm not doing anything differently.
Norman, Naresh, I need to log off. Something just popped up at my end. So bye to everyone, bye to the fans watching, and hope we have a good day of cricket today.
Yeah,
thanks,
that means
India wins.
I read through some more articles on ESPN Crick Info. Themba Bavuma is the vice captain.
Right, he was captain at one stage too, wasn't he?
He was white ball captain. Now he's the vice captain for Test cricket. Yeah.
Has an Echo gone?
Echo gone. Yeah.
I think it might have been Brahms' thing at the end there. So Naresh, very important to get your concepts of what's going on here. I think I've talked enough about Australian cricket. I want to know how you would handle the Pujara Rahane situation. How would you like to see it handled?
No, so I would separate them first and foremost. We have seen Vihari bat at 5. We have seen Shreyas Iyer bat at 5. So I will first look at Rahane being kept out. The issue is on an overseas tour, we need to do that. In India, we have seen these guys have done well. So Rahane would be the first one I would be looking at. He's definitely, if you ask me, after winning the Border Gavaskar Trophy, he could have retired, saying that I'm leaving on a high. But he's done well. He did well in England. But yeah, it's time we move ahead. When we have options, and as you said, not giving him vice captaincy role is one of the indicators to that. And because we haven't tried anyone new at number 3, Pujara would get a little more time. That's how I would look at it. I would separate both of them and not put them in the same bucket, though they both are seniors and are not giving the expected output.
I mean, it says it all when you see that they batted straight after each other and they fell very quickly, didn't they? They created a mini collapse. That says everything, really, to me. That says everything to me. That tells me that they probably they instigated that collapse effectively, didn't they? Really.
Yeah, and that's the surprising part. You include Virat, 3, 4, 5 have not given 100 in the entire 2021. But there have been those small bits of performances in between, which has kind of built that reputation, and that's what they are currently in the team more on reputation than the recent form.
But it's difficult because they always just do this little bit enough when it's asked for, don't they? They seem to just get across the line when they need to. It's really a little bit disturbing that they do it that way. That they almost know just that moment they need to get across the line, and they do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what normal, and that's what's happening more on overseas. They're on reputation on overseas with their past performance. But yeah, it's a very tricky call to make because you have to get these new guys in as early as possible. Shreyas Iyer, Gill will make a comeback whenever he's fit. Prithvi Shaw is around. The top order, we have lot of batsmen to look at.
Yeah, because you want to see what's lacking in any good era of cricket, and India's going through a very good era now, is you keep stability in their team. And actually, that might explain why they've hung on to Pujara and Rahane, maybe. And they make it very difficult to make their team, because if you chop and change, there's less valued positions in the team. What I'm saying is, it's a difficult thing to say, but maybe India have taken the adopted approach of pick and stick and not change. But I think that time's come. But when they make this change, it's got to be a long-term change. Shreyas Iyer is going to be in there long-term. Is Gill going to be in there? Rohit certainly will be. Agarwal will be too. Sky, they're going to make that permanent change, which should include
we need to
the
look
keeper.
at another person, who I feel in the future can be the best replacement at number 3 for Pujara is going to be Ruturaj Gaikwad. He's known to play very long innings. We have seen him more in T20, but domestic cricket, he's got loads of runs, in the longer format. So that is another thing to look at. Obviously, he's going to be part of the ODI squad, but it's time we look at these guys come into the test squad. And that's what it is, Norman. What frustrates is with so many options and talent around, we are stretching a bit too long, as you say, with Rahane and Pujara. At one side, it is good to continue the faith, but at the other side, we may be losing time with these youngsters.
Well, they may lose their momentum, so to speak, and it's a very difficult thing. I think that I don't think. How can I put this? I don't think India have got a lot of experience of late about how to transition between groups. They had such a good bunch many years ago with Laxman, Ganguly, Tendulkar, Sehwag.
Yeah.
They had a great, and Dhoni, even that group. The newer group with Kohli developed, yes. But there's got to be they've got to think of a transition. I guess the problem is look, Kohli didn't play this match. And we'll be knocking his form, but his captaincy is significant.
Yeah.
I really think his captaincy is significant. But see, here's the other issue with his batting as well. But okay, there's a question here. We'll just take a little bit of left field. Ray at PMB's talked about Jason Gillespie's coaching is overrated. Look at his Adelaide Strikers. I don't think so. Jason Gillespie's a really good coach. But I think the next Australian coach will probably be either a Jason Gillespie or Trevor Bayliss could come into play. They're the guys I'd put in. But Langer's time, even though Australia are doing well, Langer's time is up. But Langer's going to be saying, oh, look at the Ashes, look at the World Cup. I'm there, I won it, I should continue. Well, that's rubbish. But India has to take a step back and pick their new team and change the dynamic and then be happy with it and stick. But you're right. I think Gaikwad's a very good choice at number 3. Is he in South Africa at the moment?
No, he's part of the ODI squad. So one day he'll be part of the one-day squad, yeah.
Right, but is he going to be well, okay. I guess being a part of that squad's one thing, but yeah, I guess that's the other problem.
And that's going to be interesting, because with Rohit Sharma completely ruled out, we have gone back to Shikhar Dhawan. So will KL and Shikhar open, or Ruturaj will get a go-ahead right away? So that's going to be interesting to see. We are going in with 3 openers. We also have Ishan Kishan, but he's more a backup to Rishabh Pant as a keeper. Surya Kumar is there. Definitely, he'll be number 3. Now that's the other thing. 3 and 4. Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar, Shreyas Iyer is there. We can play only with 5 batters, including Rishabh Pant, if we have to play 6 bowlers. And you have Venkatesh Iyer also in the squad. So that 11 is going to be very interesting. Whether we want 6 bowlers or 5 bowlers, but in an ODI, 5 bowlers is a big risk.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see whether there's any changes to the situation with. Let's have a look. Just having a look at the update, because there's no visuals coming through. Normally they show visuals of the pitch or something, but they're not showing it. Anyway,
nothing has come through. Yeah,
they're still talking about rain delay awaiting update. Actually, that's the person I'd like to talk to about is Shardul Thakur. What do you think will happen with him? He's such an incredible talent. My God.
Yeah.
Who gets
and Norman, he needs a long stint now. One, he is close to 30, so not much time you can say. But he needs a long stint because I'm sure India has to look ahead of I forgot his name. Name who we were Hardik Pandya. Sorry, we have to look ahead of Hardik Pandya. So
Hardik Pandya's gone. Hardik Pandya's gone.
Yeah. So Shardul Thakur probably more impactful with the bat. We need to see him. He has given those glimpses. He did it in England. He did it yesterday a bit. But the impact he's making with the ball is tremendous. He's becoming the go-to man to break partnerships also. He and Bumrah are really, really good to do that for India. So Shardul Thakur, I think, should play more test matches. Whether India will have a different plan for him overseas and at home, we'll have to see, because at home, India would like to go with 2 spinners. So Shardul Thakur becomes the automatic choice to sit out. But overseas, he should be right away in the playing 11.
Okay. So are we suggesting that he's third string behind Ashwin, Jadeja, then he comes into play?
At home. That's at home.
Yeah,
but
okay.
away now. And you have put a good point. Away now, what happens if Jadeja is fit? Then are we looking at a choice between Ashwin and Jadeja, and Shardul definitely in? Because here also, if you see, Shardul is in the first innings, at least we saw him being the number 5th bowler. Second inning, yes, because of Siraj's injury. That's the other drawback India has in this test is Siraj is not 100%. Shardul is still a 5th bowler in this test. But what happens when Jadeja is fit? Will it be Jadeja or Shardul, or will it be Jadeja or Ashwin?
We could almost have Jadeja as a batsman who bowls, I'd almost think, which means you can include him with Thakur. Does that make sense? I mean, really,
So then Ashwin,
I think they've got to think that
Ashwin
way, because it's invaluable to have Jadeja and Thakur on the side. Don't you think?
Yeah, but Ashwin, in this test also, Ashwin, I think, is done well with the bat also. We'll have to see how more he can contribute with the ball when the game starts. But Ashwin, you can say a more capability of a wicket-taking bowler than Jadeja, who could be more a restrictive bowler away from home. So
would you say that they could have all 3 in there? Could they have all 3?
All 3, it won't happen away from home. At home, maybe if Bumrah and Shami, these guys sit out, depends whom you're playing against. Now, if our home series, like the next one is Sri Lanka coming to India, we may probably see a couple of these guys not play, so it all depends on the formation. But if we go with the current bowling lineup, then you need to choose 2 out of the 3, Ashwin, Jadeja, Shardul. They become a choice.
Okay, let me take that again. In a squad, would you always select Ashwin, Jadeja, and Thakur in a squad?
In a squad, and that's what, Norman. if it's away from home, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't, because Jadeja and Ashwin both may not, make sense away from home. Two spinners and then Shardul also, and then you have
No, but I
Bumrah,
don't mean
Shami,
playing
Sivan.
in the 11. I'm talking about the squad.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. In the squad, yes, all three have to feature in the squad.
Yeah, okay.
That
Because
gives you a
what
broader,
I'm getting,
that gives you a very broad option to pick from. That really gives you a good option to pick from. So they have to be in the squad.
that's what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is when you have, okay, the 11 can change. I'll have to agree with that. But a touring squad with those three in the mix is incredibly, because they cover so many roles altogether, don't they?
Yeah.
An out-and-out bowler, an out-and-out batsman, and an out-and-out all-rounder all in one. It's significant to do that. And I think that India's very lucky. I mean, Ashwin, for God's sake. I'm not convinced about he did get the last couple of wickets in the first test, yes. But I'm not convinced he's been that valuable in this test series so far. But in general, Ashwin's ability to take wickets is enormous. We know that. He's proven that. He's skyrocketing into the top 10 in the next 6 to 12 months. He'll be in the top 10 bowlers of all time. Only one in front of him from India's perspective is Kumble. And I even think if Ashwin keeps himself fit, could well beat Kumble one day.
Yeah. And Norman, you're right. I'm talking about a test squad, 5 batters. Number 6 is your wicketkeeper batsman. 7 and 8, you have an option to choose 2 out of these 3, Jadeja, Ashwin, Shardul, and then you have the 3 pacers. So that's a very good formation. And I think India going with 5 bowlers in every game is a very good option to go with. And out of which 2 can help you with the bat, like here Ashwin and Shardul are there.
Yeah, and Satvik Bogara is probably a good point there. He says, and I agree with him, India, Ashwin didn't play a single test match in England, despite that India we had 2-1 with Shuttle will be a good option, please. So, look, I don't know. India did very, very well in England without playing Ashwin. Yeah. I'll give them that. But at the same time, they probably could have afforded to play him. Anyway, Thakur is rising his stakes. That's 7 wickets against South Africa, and his batting ability can turn a match. I think he's extremely underrated, and he deserves more credit than what he's getting. Anyway, there's the weather scenario as well. We're not getting many updates. It's saying drizzle, but I don't even know whether that's what are they saying.
No, it's just saying start of play, delayed due rain. Yeah.
Well, it's already been how long now? It's been
I think one session is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, the first session's gone for sure. Yeah, look, okay, but India's got some good headaches, not bad headaches. Bumrah's been in great form. Shami, hasn't he been impressive? Shami's been impressive. Shami's a really good bowler.
Yeah.
How's Jadeja's fitness? Is he better already?
He is at the National Academy. I think he and Rohit Sharma both. The last I saw on social media pictures of both of them. But yeah, they have ruled him out until the summer. So I think he'll be fit in time for the IPL.
So India, do they go to the West Indies next?
I think West Indies comes to India for a white ball tour. Then Sri Lanka comes in. I think England is going to West Indies for a test tour.
That's right. Sorry. So when's India's next test series? Because this is their last. They're only playing 2 tests, aren't they?
3. There's one more after this.
Cape Town. My apologies. Okay. But are they? What's the ones up? What's the next test after that?
After this is Cape Town, and then 3 ODIs, and then India come home, and I think Sri Lanka comes to India
for a test series.
Yeah, there is a test series. I'll have to check that.
Yes, there's someone saying that there's next test series against Bangladesh. I'm not sure whether that's the case. That was supposed to be earlier on, that was cancelled, wasn't it?
Bangladesh
I need
is
to have
not.
a look at the list.
India has to tour Bangladesh, but it's not happening this year. I think it's beginning of next year probably. I'm not sure.
What was your take on the Bangladesh-New Zealand test?
Oh, wonderful! It's really good, and I think it's the first inning which made a difference. The way Bangladesh batted in the first inning to get a lead, and I don't know how much not playing Ajaz Patel is going to backfire. But yeah, they expected the Pacers to do, and it's very surprising. Saudi and Jamieson going wicketless for quite a long period of first inning. I think that's why Bangladesh got the advantage in the first inning.
So there's a comment about Smriti Mandala versus Jemima Rodriguez, and that those two girls are very close. They're good friends. Now,
Yeah, but I think the comment is the Indian squad for the World Cup is announced, and unfortunately, Jemima Rodriguez is not in the side.
yes.
What we see, Jemima Rodriguez has proved herself in the shortest format, T20. So, yeah, it's a little disappointing that she's not in the squad. Can't comment much, but she should have been there. To be honest, I would like to see her also in the squad. Smriti Mandana, no doubt, I think probably the best opener we have. But Rodriguez should have at least been in the squad in case of a replacement required.
But Shafali Verma seems to be, she's taken over a bit, hasn't she, really?
Shifali Verma is the next opener, yeah, wicketkeeper batter. Yeah.
Okay. Sadvik wants to say, was the Bangladesh versus New Zealand test upset the biggest in test history? No. So it's a watershed moment for Bangladesh, especially beating New Zealand at home, yes. But is it the best, I think still the best test cricket history, or not only upset, but really the Australia versus India Gabba test was the biggest, I think.
I think the entire series, I'll put it as the entire series with the backdrop of India coming back after 36 all out. It's like two different, the extreme low to an extreme high. So that's what you can call as. But in the recent thing, yeah, you can say the way Bangladesh came back, and I agree, beating New Zealand in New Zealand, it's a huge achievement for Bangladesh. So yeah, in the recent history, you can say that's quite a big an upset to happen.
Oh, it's certainly a major moment, but I wouldn't say it's the biggest upset. Okay, all right. So, and the other question about Aaron Finch is not gone. He's not gone. He's still playing a short form. Is this the best Australian Test team ever? No, it's not. No. It's not the best. No way near it. Nowhere near it. Our batting is good, but not great. Honestly, I mean, our bowling's pretty good, but Glenn McGrath, Shane Warne, Ponting, that era was right up there. Then the Greg Chappell, Jeff Thompson, Dennis Lilly was one of the best as well. Steve Waugh's influences, but this one's not the best by any. No, I wouldn't go that far. We need a better captain. I'm afraid Pat Cummins is a very nice bloke, a very good leader as a bowling leader, but he's not the best captain we've got. He's still learning his way. Apart from saying he may not join, she's a bit busy. I would like her to come, but she doesn't. Do you think New Zealand is too much dependent on Kane Williamson? A little bit. There's a bit of that going on. I think there's a bit of a problem there, I must say. Yeah, but their bowling lineup, I thought, was one of the best bowling lineups in the world. And at home, how did Southey, Wagner, and Bolt not do well? That's the biggest shock out of this series. On home turf, they should have smacked Bangladesh, really. And India should be beating South Africa too. I'm not happy that South Africa. I just hope India arrest this early start, get Elgar out, and then South Africa will fall. I think with the weather being disturbed, it could be playing in India's favour a little bit.
It could play.
Because 122 runs, 122 runs. There's a lot of runs in this Test series. It's a lot of runs. I can easily fall apart. Everybody's asking me, Chris Vernon. Chris Vernon's on holidays, and I have to accept that. I'm not going to push him. Wherever he's on a Christmas highs, they're all watching. They're still making comments, but This will help the Indian bowling. Yes, it will, Sadvik.
It should, yeah. Yeah, with the moisture and a little bit of overcast, it should help, yeah.
This is a fair point. I think that New Zealand did underestimate Bangladesh.
Yep.
I think there is
I
some
also
truth to
agree,
this.
Yeah.
I think New Zealand thought Bangladesh will fold. Then they got 458. It's quite incredible.
Yeah.
Bangladesh could be a top 3 side if everything fell into place, because they've got such a large group of young blokes coming through. They've got a very good academy system in Bangladesh. I've seen it myself with women as well as men's. They've got everything in their favour. It's just that they haven't put it together for long enough, and they don't get enough test matches as well. So Savdik Bagari is saying it wasn't an upset. Well, the whole series was a great turnaround with the Gabba. So
no, with India not having the frontline bowling attack, it is an upset. It is definitely an upset.
They lost 9 of their 11 players.
Yeah.
Huge upset. Yeah. Correct. As a
Norman, just to let you know the Indian schedule, February, West Indies comes to India for white ball series.
Right.
3 ODIs and 3 T20s. Then Sri Lanka comes to India, and February 25th, the first test against Sri Lanka at Bangalore could be Virat Kohli's 100th test. So 2 test matches Sri Lanka is going to play in India and 3 T20s. And then March to May, for 2 months, you have the Indian Premier League.
And then the World Cup's not far after that as well.
Yeah, and then I think there was T20 scheduled in this tour of South Africa, which got deferred. That's why the tour started a little late. So I think South Africa may come to India to play some T20s after the IPL.
And of course, there's one test match between England and India that needs to take place too.
Yeah, so there India will tour England for 1 test, 3 ODIs and 3 T20s. And then there is Asia Cup in Sri Lanka, and then the World Cup in Australia. Or rather, Australia may come to India before the World Cup, something like that, for test tour. Wow, a lot of cricket.
Test tour in India?
Yeah, Australia has to travel to India. This year, Australia is traveling Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India after the Ashes.
That's pretty big. I'm going to try and get involved with it in some way, if I'm not COVID-ridden. Is that true? Kohli might miss the 3rd test. I wonder about that.
I haven't heard that. No.
Is it true that Kohli deliberately missed one of these test matches to have his 100th at home? Oh, that's conjecture.
He wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't think so.
He wouldn't do
All
that.
right, we might end it there. Naresh, we had a nice time. Thank you again. Come back
Thanks,
again
Norman.
Naresh, we miss you. We'd like to have you back more regularly.
Sure, Norman. Yeah.
It was Gurkrat Gill's birthday today, by the way. Had his
I
birthday
wished him.
today.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wished Gurkrat. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Naresh, thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Norman.
What about your program? Tell them about your podcast.
Yeah, my podcast. The last one we did was Ashes. The first 2 tests. We have to now do the remaining. It's in Hindi. We cover cricket all over. Looking forward to record the next one, which will cover definitely Bangladesh, New Zealand, and India, South Africa, and the Ashes. So it's a weekly episode. We roll out on most of the audio podcast platforms. So that's what we do, only audio podcast.
Please put a link to it give me a link to it. I'll put it on this. All right?
I'll do that. Yeah.
All right,
you want me to WhatsApp you?
Yeah, WhatsApp me and send it to me.
I'll do that. I'll send you the Spotify link here, which is more globally acceptable. Yeah.
Thanks, Naresh.
Thank you.
Your hair looks good. You look young.
Thanks. Thanks, Norman.
All right, Naresh.
Take care. Be back normal. So the next one is a day-night, right? The last one at Hobart?
Yes. And I can't go to my Sydney one, but I'll be going to Hobart for bloody sure. I'm not going to miss that.
Okay. Okay,
All
Norman.
right.
Thanks. See you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Naresh. You take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, so we'll come to it. So why the BCO not allowed Indian players to play in other leagues? It's just purely mathematical, I'd say. I think that Satwik Usman Khawaja should definitely, I've talked about this to death, he should be now opener. Harris has had 14 test matches, 25 innings, hasn't scored a century. Khawaja comes in, first game, bang, 137. Deserves his place immediately. All right, guys? So there's no update with it. I don't think there's any noted update. Let's have a look here regarding the India versus South Africa match. The latest update we have for you is that it's still drizzling and there's no announcement of an early onset. The skies look cloudy too. So this is 11:32. So what time is it now? AM. So it's not looking very good. It looks like at this point in time, there's been no update, and we've really been here for an hour and 3/4. It's 15 minutes before lunch. Expected to be. I don't think they're going to start play now. Very unlikely they're going to start play this. Overshown real test will come this year. The subcompetition. I agree. I think he's going to have a failing. Please upload LPL awesome foursome continued. IPL awesome for. Yeah, that I've done that. We've already done that one. Yeah, I think Labuschagne's had his day. All right, guys, we might end it there. Unless there's any more questions before we go. We've talked highly about this whole thing. Here I am in Sydney. The SCG has had the day 2 of the test. Australia scored 8 for 416 declared. Usman Khawaja, a magnificent 137, deserving of his place. His 9th test century in his 40th test match, batting average of 42. Why wouldn't you have him in your side? Khawaja, definitely. Marcus Harris, 14 matches, 25 innings, averaging around 20 odd, hasn't scored a century. Go figure. Khawaja and Warner opened or batted together and played against each other since we're kids, know each other's games back to front, should be playing together. Weather prediction for tomorrow is pretty much inclement in Australia. Be the same sort of start stop game as it's been today. What is the history of Joburg ground, Norman? Wanderers is a great history, one of the best grounds, as well as Centurion, and of course down there at Cape Town, the ground there. They're all very famous cricket grounds. A great history, quite old actually. What sports site do I follow? Many. Quick Info, you name it, a whole host of them I follow. The Joburg, I'll talk about it more later on. I haven't got the full history right in front of me. We can find out about that. You want me to find about it now? Okay. Wanderers ground. Let's have a look at the history. Don't forget to watch all my videos, guys, and view, like, and share the posts and what have you. And subscribe, for God's sake, Wanderers. Wanderers Sports Ground, that's not the same. Wanderers in Namibia. That's not where I'm thinking of. Wanderers Joburg is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, okay. So Wanderers there. Imperial Wanderers, as it's now called. In Santon, it's right in the middle of the city. The Wanderers Stadium is a stadium situated just south of Santon in Illawarra, it's been Gauteng province. So everyone, okay. So let's find out more about the ground. The first test play there was in 1956. So it's not that old a ground. That back in December 1956. The last test was in January, which is happening now. Yeah, it's a fair degree of time. And you had never lost a game in Joburg. Oh, I don't know about that. Kingsmead Durban is the one of the dangerous grounds. Lots of bounce. Yeah, that's true. It's not exactly that good. Yep. So never lost series at home against India. Just South Africa, they probably don't want to start losing either, do they? So that's another issue they probably got. All right, guys. Let's have a look time-wise. What have we got here? It's been a fantastic series, both the Ashes. Well, no, I shouldn't say it. It's been pretty boring, but it was great to see. It certainly was great to see. Khawaja do well. I was very, very happy about that. Very, very happy about that indeed. Very, very happy about that indeed. That was a big result for me. There we go. Can I just make sure that. So just go at that. I just want to copy that. It is interesting to see Khawaja's interview. I mean, you got to. It's there's some great interviews going on at the moment. No, that's not what I want. There's a lot of great things going on at the moment, guys. Really, there's some superb cricketing stuff going on. There's a lot of great energy around. Khawaja's done well. You got to take it off. That was some great stuff. Khawaja's just amazing. Pretty. Why do you keep asking me? She's got her own show. She was not really a cricket commentator anyway. I don't know what people think about her, but jack of all trades, master of none. Was a bit of that going on there. So amazing shots, really. Let's check whether, in fact, we've got any more information coming through because of that. Oh, there's no doubt about it. Stuart Broad, 5 wickets, bowled really well today. Got to take my hat off to him. He played very, very well indeed. A lot of time for Stuart Broad. Very long-serving player. I think he's 6th in the rankings now in terms of his bowling efforts. Has been fantastic. Langus said about Harris that averaged 14 in his first 15 games, but Steve Orr showed faith in him and red ball, and the rest is history. I'm finding that a bit hard to comprehend, to be honest. I'm sorry. So are we basing it on? Why are we basing it on what? I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all. I just think that you've got better players in the side. That's why. I will one day. Don't worry. Not sure what happened here. Very strange. All right, guys, we might go then. So all the best. The game is not. It's probably only lunch now, so we didn't actually get to start a game. We had a great recap of the Australia-England Test Series, the day 2 with Khawaja's great heroics, 137. Hazelwood still has a side strain. He's not quite there yet. Jaya Richardson's not quite there yet, but should be back for the next match. England is a finished team, and I wouldn't say it's finished, did you? That's too heavy a comment. Anyway, all the best, guys. So view, like, and share the post. Subscribe. Hit the notification button. Norm Koch is my Twitter and my Instagram handle. Norman Kochnik there for both Facebook and LinkedIn. So all the best, guys. We'll talk more later. We're coming up to 2 hours I've been live. We've had a great deal of interaction, some great guests. Naresh Manaskani came on. We had Baram Marani as well. We had Gurkrak Gilday by phone. Great evening, great time. So please do watch in future episodes. I'm here at Sydney Airport. I think I told you before. I'm in Sydney, and there's a bit of water against the wall, which means it's been raining, but otherwise it's fine. So please do all the rest of it. We'll talk soon. Ciao.